Hi, this is Jay Kirschenmann. I took a trip this summer of 2009 to Wall, South Dakota, and Wall Drug. We saw signs for miles and miles leading to the Black Hills, and stopped in and found that Wall Drug is the main part of Main Street of Wall. It stretches for a good block at least, and another block deep. It features dozens of shops with all kinds of handcrafted items and jewelry, and of course a very fine bookstore. Ted Husted, third generation owner, was kind enough to invite me in and let me sign books. And as I sat in the bookstore, I got to talk with folks from across the nation, coast to coast, that stopped in, and most were on their way to the hills, and some left with the Black Hills guidebook. It tells them attractions to check out throughout the hills, arranged by city and by region, hotels, attractions, and restaurant mini reviews as well. Ted let me hang around for about a half a day, and then took me on a tour of this sprawling complex and told me a little bit about it. After a little looking around, we found the bookstore. It's a nicely stocked shop full of lots of factual books about places and people, characters from the region, historic content. And soon Ted himself showed up and let me sign one of my Black Hills guidebooks to him personally. And then I hung out and just talked with customers as they came and went. Several of them left with the book on the way to the hills. They liked the idea of mini reviews of restaurants and hotels, and especially attractions. And pretty soon Ted came back, and we went on a walking tour of the place. And I figured, as long as I've got the third generation owner of the famous Wall Drug, I might as well sit down with him and let him tell me about the place a little bit. He's hoping a fourth generation. That's one of his sons right there. May take over at some point. But I'll let Ted talk a bit. Here we go.
And a part of that plan was free water, right?
Yes. She came uptown and says to her husband, "We've got to try and stop these people that are going to Mount Rushmore and the Black Hills." And he said, "How?" And she said, "Well, let's put up some signs on the highway." He said, "Well, what should we put on the signs?" And she said, "Well, let's advertise free ice water. We have a soda fountain, we got ice, we got water. It's 95 degrees out there today. These people are probably thirsty, and maybe we can get them off the road advertising free ice water." So my grandfather went out and put out a series of signs. When my dad came into business in 1951, we were still probably maybe a 250 square foot operation, and he was a very sensitive, very romantic person who wanted to create a business that he and his family could be proud of. And back in 1951, I think we still had outdoor toilets. And by the time he retired from the business because of Lou Gehrig's disease, we had a 77,000 square foot operation. I would guesstimate that we do 2.2 million people a year. I think we can do on a busy day 18,000 people. We can feed 1,000 people an hour in our restaurant. And
You've had your 75th anniversary. How about the future? What do you see?
Well, I see as far as my role is concerned, I feel that I just want to be a good steward of this business, make sure it stays financially healthy, try to improve the experience my customers have, and you do that by entertaining them, educating them, and doing it with world-class aesthetics. That's how you put on an experience. And if there's any way that I can improve that experience, I'm going to do that. Every painting in the restaurant is an original oil or an original watercolor. I think it's probably the largest private collection of art on public display in the country that I know of. And we want to see it continue to prosper, and we want to keep it in good financial shape and healthy for a potential fourth generation Husted to come back in the business.
Yeah.
That would be nice.
Right.
It's a big part of the charm of this institution is the fact that it's still family run. Heritage is one of the themes of Wall Drug that people find very appealing.